Um, so, how to start? We are a small group of. Yes. Sorry for my English. I'm not. I don't give often talks, so sorry about hesitation and mistakes. And so we are a small group gathered under a name Libre Objet. We are interested by the idea about the open source applied to physical objects. We are product industrial designer, graphic hackers and artists. So at the beginning we were 4 people, but at this time one of us leave the group, and the main activity of our project is to organize workshops, and we invite people to think about sharing knowledge, open source, how we can apply open source on physical object, and make something, and have we well, maybe we can yes, show something. So one of the topic of our workshops is to work on derivation of derivated object. We start from an object, an existing object. In this case, it was a small bookshelf that I have already designed, and yes, we invite people to how to fork, how to make something else by starting with this object. And we also so this workshop is more a place to talk with people about open source, about how to use a license, how to talk about rights, copyrights, how we can share knowledge, share the physical object, and we had.
And how to construct it also, to use tools to construct it, but generally, you understand me? And maybe also to use the simple tools like I don't know the name, saw, but not a big tool, not a big tools like CNC or laser cutting, just simple tools to make an object, and generally the people don't use to use that simple tools. You know, it's very basic, but finally they don't use it. And also is because the workshop is generally just for 1 day or 2 days, so you can't explain how to work, or how to use a CNC and everywhere else.
One of the things, so this is just a series of pictures taken from the different workshops we've given. And we also have a website at the address libreobjet.org, where we try to gather open source objects, open source designs that we, as a collection, and also so we encourage people coming to our workshops to finish, or not finish, but to produce documentation and share the design files so we can have them on our website. So it's three things actually. So we have three activities. There's these websites, there's workshops, and there's also exhibitions. So we participate also in exhibitions where we can show the results of workshops and make open source design more knowledgeable. Yeah.
Yes, I think yes, we can continue with our own background. So for me, I start to my interest about open source applied to physical object started with the project when I was invited by Constant to make some different kind of furniture, and one of the first is produce furniture for a media library in Brussels, and the idea was to design something that people can remake it really easily with no specific tools, just some basic tools that you can have at home. And one of the things is what kind of license we can choose or apply to physical object. And this project was 4 years ago, and the idea was to search a license which can be the most the closest with the GPL license that the license used by the software, and one of the first open source license, and I start to use the free art license because it's the license is really understandable and really simple, and offer the same freedom like the GPL, and the same security about the author rights. So and after this project, I have also designed other projects for Constant, and continue to design other things in this way. And for this project, for example, it's a family of furniture that you can make by a CNC machine, and the idea is to, with the two two panels. You can construct with any glue, any screw, or just by the assembly make a series of tables or a bench or something else like this. One is TV table, and for this project, it was a personal project, and that I'm doing with my own capacity, with my own money. And so at the beginning, I said, oh, okay, why not choosing a license with a restriction? Like the Creative Commons by SANC, that there is a commercial restriction. But now, after this, after our experience with Libre Objet and personal experiences and the work with Martin, we change it now with the free art license. So now maybe Martin can talk about his own experience about open source.
Thank you, Mathieu. So I'm Martin, and also together we are living in Brussels, and now Julien is living in New York. But for Mathieu and for me, it's important the place that it's very local and also mondial, because we have, you understand? Yeah. We have also a workshop and event in Brussels, but we can also come here, and the 2D drawing can be shared around the world. So me, I start to work more or less with DIY object, and I make different publication with other designer and to share my project, like a recipe book. And for example, that book it's a book how you show how to make furniture with palette. I don't know in English, palettes, yeah. And to share it, but at that moment we don't spoke about license, and finally it was very interesting to work on it and to share it, and but you don't protect or explain how you can share the object. So with that editor and book, we start another book that it was a book of shelf, and after it was another book of design nature, like natural material, and for the book, 3 years later, I say, okay, so now I can explain to the editor, publisher, that I want to put some license on it and to share it more efficiently, and to also to promote the license and the open source design to everywhere, because that kind of book is very accessible. It's very for a large public. So that product, for example, of the book, is on the free art license also, so you can do it, share it, modify, and sell it also if you want. What else? And yeah, that's another project. We became to work together with Mathieu with that project. It's a bench in wood. It was starting in CNC tools, yes, CNC tools, and finally now we make it with hardwood and with special tools, and all that project yeah, we're starting with that that bench, and now we are working all together, not separately, and we start an activity that the name is non pareil, and we want to use all the reflection about Libre Objet and licenses to apply it in the real world with an activity and to earn money with it, and how we can do that. So maybe Mathieu, you want to say another thing about non pareil? Ah, okay.
So yeah, I'm a media artist, so I met these guys doing designs, and I was also interested in copyright challenges and open source. I use open source tools, and so I did this project, which you'll see downstairs also, which is a bench made out of a pallet, and I released that as open source, and I was sharing it and did a lot of workshops, and that's how I met also these guys. And since we were sharing the same questions about open source design, we decided to create this collective called Libre Objet. So what we're going to do here, actually, for the next 2 weeks, is that we want to. So we've been giving workshops, we've been experiencing different things around open source design. We've seen also a lot of people talk about open source design, and we think, I mean, we see that there's a general. So there's a general trend into open source design, but we think that a lot of people have a hard time understanding what it means. And so when we give workshops, we give a lot of information, and then we see that people attending cannot grasp all that in just maybe one morning. So the idea to be here with you is to create a manual, a guide, where we gather I would say the state of open source design right now, and put that in a book so that students in design, beginners or more experienced people who want to get into that have a reference that they can go to if they want to answer some questions relating to that. So the project is about creating this book together. For that, there's tools and practices. I don't know if you're aware of something called book sprint, which is so it's putting people together with the goal of writing a book in just a couple days. And so there is tools like, for example, BookType or other series of tools like Etherpad and some scripts and some to turn that into a PDF. So we will use. We haven't decided, but we'll use either of those. So like I said, the goal is to try to answer the frequently asked questions that people have about open source design. It's to create a resource so that we can use it for our workshops and maybe for your workshops on open source design, and to actually create something physical, a book, but that would be also the state of open source design right now. So you can of course join our project if you're around here in the next 2 weeks. We'll be happy to have you with us to write this, and if you can't be, there's be a tool also that you can access online, so you can talk to us and write with us. So maybe if you want to get in touch with us, this is our email address. We have also a Twitter account if you like that, and we have a mailing list that has been up since we started. We started calling it Open Source Design. It's not very active, but we sometimes exchange on that, and so we want to welcome you there to join us. Still a couple minutes or it's over? Okay. Questions afterwards. That's it.